Sorry for that little thing. My memory ran out, but I'll try to make this quicker. But we then at least we see an old lady put like a. This will probably be split into two parts now, but we see an old lady put this fish into their bag, like in Halloween. She's like grumpy and all that, whatever. But Wanda says then she kind of can't remember everything about that in some sense. This could also then be a hint to maybe once again that he isn't really Pietro. Can't even get my words out. He maybe isn't really who he seems to be. Because maybe he doesn't know fully exactly everything about their actual history in some way. So this could be another hint towards that. um, uh, but it can also be just the one that does suppress a lot, as we have seen. And also in the comics, we see that she does suppress a lot of her past memories to try to bring in this new full reality for herself, like this more perfect reality. So it could be just a case of that, um, but who knows? Who knows? Um, um, they also we get a little small hint or something in the flashback. We see like a poster in the background by the old lady's house. We see some type of poster that has like a atom on it, a picture of Adam, some type on it. This could be a hint towards maybe uh, a molecule man, and that has atomic powers or something like shit like that, can create atoms and stuff, or um, it can be that a hint to once again towards how people how Wanda inside the hex kind of changes people on a more molecular level in some type of way, and like changes their atoms around and all that. Uh, in some ways, uh, what did I write here? Uh, like yeah, in some type of way, well, like we've seen with Monica, like we saw with Monica in a sense, like how her inside of her like her blood and everything, how things inside of her change because of the energy or kind of particles inside of her and stuff like that have changed around. So that could be just another hint towards that as well. But then we move on and we see Darcy, Monica, and Jimmy. They're upset over how Wanda is being seen, how Hayward tried to shoot down Wanda, and how seeing her as a threat or a bad person. Hayward, we can clearly see that Hayward doesn't like superpowered people, and this is another hint towards he could be some type of bad guy like that, who just doesn't like people like that. He just wanted to get rid of them or some stuff like that. And he doesn't like that Monica and them are like not agreeing with him and that they're actually defending Wanda. So he also kind of like that that's typical of her. Like there's just she has an agenda. She has like some personal connection with them because he brings up her past with Carol Danvers and uh or Captain Marvel to her, like how she was friends with her and her mom had past with her and all that. He also like uses her mom, like he makes a dab at her mom as well, which makes him really seem like a big douche. But yeah, and then he kind of he pretty much has an agenda against these superpower people. So he throws them out, he sends them out. Definitely, he tells them to leave his base and all that. But one day he forced down. Jimmy Woo starts like punching the guards. It's really cool to see him start kicking ass. That was uh, that was just brilliant. And we see him and Monica take down the guards, and they and Darcy go on then. And uh, let me see. and they go on to another location. They're trying to find a way to like sneakily find a way back in and try to get into the hex again. But then we cut off to um, we see a house that is pretty much witch themed, and once again, Marvel is probably trying most to make it seem like, yeah, hinting to more and more towards Agatha Harkness, and in some type of way, there's a big cat there. It could be some type of cat that pins towards Agatha's cat in the comics. That is named Ebony, I think. Um, and which could also turn into like a big panther, maybe Black Panther or something like that, but no relation to, I don't think, at least to actual Black Panther, but at least not in this sense. But yeah, but then we also see many people that are dressed differently and stuff like that. But we in the back we see kind of like an evil Quicksilver, evil looking Quicksilver. He's like has this kind of like a smile to him, and he's walking. And a thing with his hair is possibly that could be like maybe his hair. Yeah, it could just be like it's supposed to look like the comic background with the tops going off sides, but it could also maybe be a small hint towards horns, possibly in some that way, which connects to the devil, and once again, may then connects to Mephisto. So that could be another small hint towards Mephisto's involvement in some type of way. But one other thing that also shows that is when suddenly Quicksilver says also unleash hell demon spawn. He says that to Billy and Tommy, and like he said, go off and do your things with the trick or treat, like. But he says in like a way like unleash hell demon spawn, and that's a little bit of a shocker because of, yeah, demon spawn, referring to like evil and stuff like in demons and like hell in some type of way. Maybe once again that could be Mephisto, because as you said in the comics, the Wickham and Speed are pretty much made out of his shards from his soul. He like makes Wanda give birth to him to them with some part of his magic, like shards from himself, and he wants them then back. Um, so could these two things be smaller, once again smaller hints towards Mephisto? Um, then we see Wanda ask him about in the past if she remembers a man who used to steal his boots, and we had like a weird face thing. Maybe this could be possibly another small hint or reference to Doctor Doom in some kind of sense. Maybe not, but he could be in this in the MCU. He could be maybe connected to Sokovia in some type of way, but nothing is really short. It could be him, but uh, don't quote me on that. um, and then Quicksilver says quickly, "You're testing me," in some type of way, and he's like has this kind of weird tone to him. Um, um, and she asks like back like, why are you thinking that? And he kind of just avoids the question, in some ways, and and he mentions like Shangri-La, like he's like in some weird ways, like mentioned, and that's in the comics. That's a place that Vision, like in some thing that Vision finds, and they it's up to be able to help save people in the world. I'm not gonna go fully into exactly how it is, but in some sense, that's what it is. And then, that could be a little more. Also kind of hint towards again like that's the kind of the same thing that Vision is trying to do here with Westview, trying to find a way to help these people that are trapped by whatever, and trying to like make everything go back to some normal way. Even if he doesn't know exactly what is going on or remember much. Then we see Wanda talk to Herb, and he has already found out about Vision. She finds out about Vision's lie that he's not part of the neighborhood watch, and we see in the background we can see some people kind of, it's like a kid almost has like a hobgoblin costume on, but that's more like a, maybe a funny, but also in the background by a house that is set up maybe some type of figure that's almost looks like it's looking at Wanda. So that could be a small hint or reference. It kind of looks like Death or the Grim Reaper, actual Grim Reaper, but that could be another hint towards the villain Grim Reaper being involved. But anyways, Herb seemingly now seems to know what's happening before it happens. He mentions something about silly strings, like, and now they're all called bacillus strings, and then in the background, exactly after it says that, some kids or still or whoever, like maybe some adults, they get covered in silly strings, all this kind of spray stuff, and he and that's like, oh, is this some, is he kind of has something behind this, because it's not the first time he's been able to kind of be aware of stuff. You saw back in episode 3 when he was aware of them being trapped, and Agnes kind of stopped him from going on trying to say what he was about to say. And then he says, is there something I can do for you, Wanda? Do you want something changed? And that's another like whoa moment, because you see like, okay, there is something there, there's something going on there. Either he's aware fully and he has some involvement, or somebody is making him say this, somebody's possibly controlling him, making to get through to Wanda in some way. uh this could be some type of stuff. I don't know, is he aware, is it something, we're not entirely sure, but it's, there's something there with that moment. Then we come to Vision, and he's like farther off from Wanda now, and he sees many children. Because he before he wondered what is children, but now he sees that they're there. They're farther out from that closest mill surrounding that Wanda has set up. And we also see a lot of other people. They're either frozen or stuck in just one motion, repeating the same thing. Or we see like a woman hanging up clothes, but she's like going back and forth just with the same one. She's not doing anything. And we see that she like has a tear coming down her face. It's like crying in some sense, because she clearly is in pain, possibly because as we remember, um, back with Norm in the last episode, he says, "Please stop her." It's like, we're in pain. Like, I'm in pain. Like, it hurts and stuff like that. Remember when he said that to Vision, when Vision like kind of made him go out of the trance. So this could mean, but maybe because of this control that one that set up, these people could be hurt. These people could be in pain, maybe out of because they haven't had anything to eat, anything to drink, or just they're just pain and stuck because they're stuck in the same kind of situation. Like it can also mean fear as well. You could be scared, and maybe because she starts crying because she sees Vision as well, she's trying to maybe find someone to help them. So that's a little bit of like a kind of a little bit creepy moment, but also like it makes you think really what is actually going on. But then we cut to a really interesting weird commercial. This time it doesn't hint towards anything in particular like before, like with like some sense of Hydra or anything. No, this time it's more what's actually going on inside. I mean, this could also connect to that of how the people are feeling. It's a young boy. He's sitting on like a tropical island. He's by himself. He's stranded on an island, and he has nothing to eat. Though there's a crab by him, but I don't know. And nothing to eat. Then a shark comes up, and he says that he can help it. Well, he knows what can help his hunger, and He says he can fix his hunger with uh he can fix his starving with your magic. With your magic. And that's like it seems to look like some kind of like the yogurt or something, like some type of, you know, pack of yogurt that you, strawberry flavored yogurt that you eat, you know. And we see the boy trying to open it up, but he can't get it open. He's too weak, and eventually he just decays away. He dies. The boy dies, and and that can also be a smaller hint towards metaphor for what's actually happening inside of the hex. Like all the people as well. Can they eat? As I said, can they eat, or could uh can are they actually being able to like function normally even when they are possessed, or even when they are like stuck in one motion and stuff like that. But it can also mean more about one that's um magic not really giving her what she actually needs or wants to have in some way. And this could be connected to something a bit later, which I'll get to towards the end with Vision. But maybe her magic is not really helping her in this, in the way she would have wanted it to do. So there's different meanings behind this. You can really kind of analyze it in different ways, but those are like one of the two main ones I've seen that people kind of think could be what this commercial is really trying to say. Um, and then we cut to the one and the boys. They're walking in front of a big theater. And then here we get a little Easter egg on the billboards on the big like the matinee theater stuff. It says The Incredibles, as well as Parent Trap. And The Incredibles, of course, this could be a little bit of reference and hint towards Fantastic Four. The first hint we get of Fantastic Four in this episode, and because the Incredibles were kind of a homage or homage uh, to the Fantastic Four in some way, because of the people with the powers, like Mr. Incredible kind of being like a thing, Elastigirl kind of being like Reed Richards with the stretchy stuff, Dash, I don't know, being some type of mix, I guess, of some sorts, maybe a little bit, have a little bit of Johnny Storm's personality possibly, and then we have Jack kind of with the fire going on, and also then we have Violet being invisible, having like these shields and fields kind of stuff. It could be like Sue Storm, so that's a little bit of a reference to that in some sense. Then we also have Parent Trap, which could mean that there is some, maybe a trap set up for Wanda by either Mephisto or some other villain that is involved in this. That could be shown later, that they're trying to set up a trap for her to get to her, to maybe get to the twins, or whatever the motives are. But then we also see that Quicksilver actually possibly is sent in here, or he's there to, as it seems, cause trouble, to stir up trouble, or also to create grief for Wanda, because he still literally mentions a lot of the past and a lot of different things. Because Wanda, Wanda asks in a little fun way, and Wanda asks what happened to his accent, and he responds with "What happened to yours?" So that's a little fun reference there, because they're aware what happened to, like, in Age of Ultron, Wanda had an accent, of course, like a Sokovian accent, but after that movie, it was gone in Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. So it's a little little fun kind of acknowledging of that fact. So I like that. That was pretty fun. Um, but then we get to know how he possibly got there. He says he got shot up, like he got shot down by Ultron, and then he heard Wanda calling for him, and that's how now he's here. This of course could be a lie. There's some sense of maybe his eyes have like a hint of red, or his skin as well. in that shot, so that could maybe tell us something. but but it also could be that she has revived him in some type of sense. But she also says before in the last episode that there's some rules to maybe how you bring back people from the dead. So maybe she couldn't bring back the actual Quicksilver. So she brought some kind of likeness of another one from another universe or some type of way. But what most people seem to think is that it's that Quicksilver maybe isn't um then isn't Quicksilver, and there is something more to it. Um, so it could be something there, but there's different outcomes that can happen. There, but who knows? Who knows? Let's just move on. Then we see like we see a little bit before that as well. We see Billy's powers as well, like or no, Tommy's power. No, we see. Yeah, this is first when we see Tommy's powers first are shown. He's like quick, like speed in the comics. He runs around and all that, and and they are like they say they're gonna go off and do more quick trick or treating. Wanda says then don't go past Ellis Street, and this Ellis Street is a reference to something else, which I'll get to a little bit later. But this will be connecting to Vision as well. Then we see Monica, Darcy, and Jimmy trying to find a way back into the hex again. Uh, this is where we start getting a setup for a big Easter egg, which will be set up, will be sent later. But first, we see Darcy finds out that Hayward is like he's tracking Vision and he can look inside of the hex and you see what's happening. And we see that he's tracking some kind of decaying uh, signatures of vibranium, which could mean sometimes that maybe Vision isn't fully alive as we thought he is. He's alive, but there's something more to it. He's like fully alive, but he's not solidly alive in that sense. um, maybe he's trying to. It's hinted towards maybe he's trying to make a weapon out of Vision, or maybe trying rebuilding Ultron or reviving Ultron. This could be a little bit hint towards that as well. Um, then Darcy sees that the that everyone close to Wanda Hex aren't moving. Like everybody who aren't close to one that's like closest inside, as I said before, they aren't moving. This is some like in us, as you mentioned, this is something like in a sitcom when the people on screen are the ones that really matter. There's those that are shown. They're the ones who move and do things to entertain to entertain the audience. The other ones outside of that, they don't matter until they are needed on to be shown on screen. So they are just still outside in the void outside off screen. So that's a little bit like a reference between the sitcom and that, like it's how Wanda has set everything up. um, uh, then we see Vision that he finds Agnes. He finds Agnes and she seems to be under control in some way, but she wasn't before in early episodes. This is where we see a little bit more of this. um, she says that that Vision is an Avenger, and like you're an Avenger. Are you here to help us or save us? He says yes, but he doesn't know what an Avenger is. Um, um, like Agnes seems a bit some type of confusion. She starts laughing. He makes her go back. He like kind of makes her snap out of it in some way. Um, and she seems like this kind of confused and stuff like that. And she asks him, "Are you? Am I dead because you are?" And she's like, "Am what? I am what?" Like he gets confused as well because of what she says, and she just starts kind of like she starts laughing, kind of like a witch almost in some way. Uh, after a while, because she keeps repeating the word "dead, dead, dead" in some ways, and that can also be another hint towards the Grim Reaper. He says that he will help. He puts her like him, and but she says all is lost and laughs. As I said, she starts laughing like a witch a bit more, and which says that she probably is Agatha Harkness, but there's something more to this, maybe, or maybe she's putting up a facade in some way to try to make Vision leave. So Wanda can do something, which I'll get to in a bit, but maybe she'll try to make Vision leave out, so something will affect him, so Wanda can maybe spread out her powers more. Um, but he puts her back to normal, and this time she's actually not as confused or phased as she was before. She actually kind of acts like normal. It's just like, oh, see you later, neighbor. And she like turns around and she knows what she's doing now, and she just like leaves in her car and goes and drives away. This can be maybe Wanda has gotten stronger, so she's been able to control Agnes now. Or, as I said, it could be a ruse to make Vision leave the hex, and so Wanda can activate her powers again and do something even more. Maybe it's part of the plan entirely, which seems like the most plausible thing to happen. Um, but he also finds himself on, as he is there after that, he finds himself on Ellis Street. This is like some type of a small reference, maybe to Ellis Island in the first X-Men movie, when we see Ian McKellen's Magneto, where he has this big machine thing, where he tries to create, make all of humanity turn into mutants, and this is the second like kind of mutant X-Men reference we kind of get in this, and or somewhat second directly, like a more aware reference in that kind of sense. We of course we have the powers of Billy, of course, and soon we'll get to the powers of, or we have the powers of Tommy, and soon we'll get the powers of Billy as well. But this is kind of another reference towards mutants again, and this is what I think, yeah, and many other things too. This episode could be setting up the existence of mutants, or the creations of mutants, or the activation of their power, which I'll get to later. But then we cut to Monica, and she he once again mentions a guy once again that could be helping them, that he's contacted her get back. And this once again, it could be Reed Richards. She doesn't, this time she doesn't mention astrophysicist or whatever she said before. But also it can also be maybe somebody else, maybe somebody like Hank McCoy, or something like that, or there's some different people that it could be. I saw an article that lists a couple of few people that it could be. um, so that could be the big cameo coming up as well. Whoever that is, one of the big cameos that they've been talking about. And this is where the Easter egg also comes to play. Monica wants to go in directly, but Darcy says no. She can't do that because her inside of her body, like her bloodstream and everything is it's been changed. Um, uh, it's changing, has like it's been changed on like a molecular level again. It's been changed on a molecular level, and it's not fully it's not fully stable and stuff, and it can really hurt her. And this as I've seen, it could activate something. As we said, we've seen that this could activate her powers, and this is how many people think this is how they will introduce the mutants into into the MCU. This could be how they do, because of the hex, the power inside of the hex could be how the the X gene, or what do you want to say, gets activated, and the powers start appearing with different people around the world. In the world, um because in the comics, Monica's superhero name is Photon, as she when she gets all these powers. um this is because the big Big Bang pretty much created the Infinity Stones, and the Infinity Stones have that power from the Big Bang, and that one of the Infinity Stones activated both Wanda and Pietro's powers. So this could be the case with, and some of that power is still remnant inside of Wanda's powers. So this could be the way that the mutant gene gets set off inside of, like, in the MCU. That X mutant gene. um, uh, Pietro, I think, is it Pietro who says that? Oh, yeah. Pietro asked, and then we cut to Pietro asking Wanda somewhat what is going on, and like, does she know, like, he he kind of, he's like, he knows somewhat what he kind of is aware of what she's doing. He says he knows what's going on, and like, how you feeling, and Wanda asks if he thinks it's wrong. He says no, he's impressed. And once again, why would he say that? Like, is that like something a brother, a good like a good guy or brother would say, that he wants her to keep going with this stuff? He's impressed by this some of these bad things that she's done, not maybe full intentionally, but you know what I mean. So this can not be another hint towards that Pietro maybe isn't as good as he seems, and maybe he isn't himself. Um, um, what is that right here? I don't know. But anyways, he starts to ask a little bit. I don't know. There was some Easter egg in there, I think. Uh, I don't remember right now, but I cannot see what I wrote. Sorry, but I'll maybe mention another time. But then Wanda suddenly, when he starts to get closer to her a little bit more, Wanda suddenly sees, just like she did with Vision, she sees in front of her a dead Quicksilver, still even Peters, but he sees like his face, like his eyes are like misty, like, and he has like these three bullet holes in his chest, look like blood, and she gets scared, of course, and this could possibly be somewhat of a work from Nightmare, possibly, because he feeds off of a fair. So what better ways to bring fair? I wanted to show her the people that she has lost, like when the people that she loved and cared about, her her husband, in some sense, her like closest lover, her love, and also her brother. So that's a little bit of an interesting thing there. But then we also got to another Easter egg some being shown. This is where this is really shown fully entirely. And this is another Fantastic Four Easter egg. Darcy pulls up like some type of file that says R4-123. This could be a small reference to the comic book, the Fantastic Four type comic book with the same issue number. And in that issue we have both Silver Surfer, Galactus, and but also Agatha Harkness as well. So that's a little bit. I saw that some people brought up that theory that that could be something. Maybe not. Maybe just a coincidence, but that could be possibly a hint towards that. Knowing Marvel, it's surely it could definitely be that way. Um, then we also have a little thing like a file also named cataract, special weapons unit, something there's something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it's about weapons, and it's like directed toward with the Hayward. It's on Hayward's kind of between Hayward's files and all that stuff, and this is once again shows a little bit towards is he trying to make Vision into a weapon or trying to use Vision to create weapons, maybe trying to bring back Ultron. Another hint towards the kind of bad guy status that he has. And then we come into the final couple of scenes. This is we see now. This is when we see this Vision escapes the hex. He goes out of the hex, and this is what maybe the commercial also was hinting towards that she can maybe like her powers can't really fully hold on, like just create this perfect life, or maybe fully keep Vision entirely close to her in some sense, because he goes off on his own. He leaves it, and it starts pulling him back in. It slowly starts killing him. Like the parts of him start going off. We see a lot of the Shield agents have gathered around. Hayward is there. We see Darcy as well, and we see this that he's like the energy inside of the hex. That's what's really keeping him alive. So that's why when he goes out, he can't really stay stable or stay compacted. So he like breaks apart somehow. This is where we see Billy's powers, and he's kind of had this telepathy or telekinesis, and he hears Vision. He hears his father. It's like the same type of powers that's like of the Wanda has. Some of those are some of the powers that Wanda has as well, and he can hear Vision dying and screaming and all that. And then Wanda realizes what happens, and she, Quicksilver makes like a smarky comment about it, like, "Oh, you know, bringing back people dead" or something like that, and she like pushes him away, and then she kind of like she forces him away, and then she starts expanding the hex. She starts like makes a quick move, and like the hex starts expanding out more and more, engulfing more like of the surroundings. So many shield like or I say shield, many sword agents start getting sucked in as well. Darcy unfortunately also is one of them, because she got handcuffed to one of the jeeps, so she gets thrown in there. We see some of the sword agents get turned into like mimes or clowns, like circus people. That's just goes to show how much one that doesn't like it. She sees them as like nobodies or something like that. No disrespect to circus people, of course, but that's how they show it here. Um, um, Monica and Jimmy managed to escape, as well as Hayward and some couple other sword agents. And we see that Vision gets back in. He gets like put back together, but he's fall down on the ground. He's still on the ground. We don't know if he's dead or not. I don't think he is, but he's probably not feeling too well if he's not. Um, so we see him there, and then that's kind of the last thing we see is him there on the ground, and Wanda just standing there like some shock way. Um, and that's pretty much that. That's where the episode ends. Incredibly interesting episode. A lot happened, and as you see, there's a lot to unpack in this. That's split up in two parts. I was going to do it, but it was split up in a bad way this time. But anyways, this was closer to 1 hour, but it was a lot to really undo and try to figure out and try to put out. So next on Friday this week was next week we'll see even more. Maybe it will be a longer episode, so I'll try to figure out how to do that. Maybe I won't be doing this same type of way. Maybe I'll do it in a shorter way, just to point out the more more highlighted moments. But anyways, that was pretty much that. A super incredible episode, super interesting, a lot of great moments, and it's really starting to build up now. For this last three coming episodes are gonna be definitely so incredible. They're gonna be unreal, 100% surely. Uh, they they're gonna be that real type hardcore MCU action. I'm definitely certain about that. They'll be almost like some like mini Marvel movies in some type of sense, even though they're episodes of a show. So I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. Which people are gonna appear. There's some hints, as I said before. There's some hints. Maybe Magneto will be one of the the cameos. Maybe Reed Richards. We'll know that definitely Doctor Strange will make an appearance as well. But who knows? Who knows? I just want to see how all this concludes, and we can finally maybe see who's the actual villain, maybe, or how all this ends. Because we see, I said, she expands everything, and I believe, and many other people have believed this too, that this expansion won't just be for a couple miles now in the US. This could also be around this. She can probably spread this out, but towards the end of the show she'll probably spread it around across the world pretty much, and that's what's gonna set off the X gene, the X mutant gene that will create mutants in some way. Could be wrong. Definitely could not be the case, but but that's one of the theories going around, and I also feel like that would be a plausible thing that could happen definitely in this, and will be really cool definitely to see if that towards the end of the show if that actually happens. Maybe we'll have some other type of payoff from that in either the next Spider-Man movie, or especially in the Multiverse of Madness. Maybe that's what also set off the many different universes as well. Maybe that's how the other Spider-Man come in, or I don't know. But there's a lot left to see, and there's a lot left a lot more questions to be answered. But so far, it's been an incredible show, and I can't wait until episode 7 on Friday, and then 8 and 9 as well. It's super great, and then we have a few weeks pause after that until after WandaVision is done, and then we have Falcon and Winter Soldier. So yeah, uh, I'm hyped. I'm hyped definitely. But that's pretty much it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this long go through of all the theories and everything that happened in this episode. Hope next time I don't think it's gonna be this long. I think not in the same format. We'll see what I come up with. But if you did enjoy it, leave a like down below, and also subscribe if you haven't already for to see more, and also press the notification bell to get notified when I post. And yeah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.